Hey friends, what's up? Welcome back to Babylon Talmud. Today we're studying Daf Kuf Chav Beis, Daf 122 of Masechta Yevamos. Friends, this is the last Daf of Masechta Yevamos. Friends, whew, wow. That's all I can say is wow. Also what I could say is Shabbos is starting really soon, so I need to hustle. We are on Daf Kuf Chav Beis Amud Aleph at the Mishnah, 15 lines in. So we're continuing to talk about testifying about a fellow that he's gestorben. So Me'idin L'Or Ner, we can even testify based on candlelight. If you identify the fellow based on candlelight, you saw that he's gestorben. So that suffices. V'L'Or Levana, or by moonlight. Umasin Alpi Baskol. You can, if you just hear like a voice that says that, a certain fellow is dead, you can trust the voice. There's a maise with a fellow who was at the top of Mount Va'amr, and he says, Ish ploni ben ploni mimakum ploni meis. And all they heard was a voice, and the voice said that so-and-so from a certain place is gestorben. They went to investigate, and they didn't find anybody there. And nonetheless, they, just based on this voice that they heard, they allowed his wife to get remarried. But Salmon, there was episode Maisa in Salmon, Ani ish ploni ben ploni, Ani ish ploni ben ish ploni, Nishachani nochosh v'arei ani meis. Right? They heard a fellow saying, look, it's me, so-and-so, the son of so-and-so, I've been bitten by a snake and I'm dying. They went there, and when they found him, they couldn't recognize him. Nonetheless, they took his word that, when he was dying, he said that he is so-and-so and so-and-so, and even though they didn't recognize him when they went, that was enough to allow his wife to get remarried. Rab Bar Shmuel, Tana, says Rab Bar Shmuel, we learn in the Brisa, Beishami Eimim, Ein Mesin Al Pi Baskel, that Beishami says that we do not marry based on a Baskel. Basil says that we do marry based on a baskel, right? So Bishami says that we do not allow her to get remarried based on, if you just hear this voice, and Basil says that you can based on this voice. My kamashmala masnisani, isn't that just our Mishnah? Hokamashmala, this is what it's letting us know. Kachas stome din Masiin Beishami, that if you do find a stam Mishnah or a stam something that says that we do not allow a woman to get remarried based on a baskel, well then you know that is Beishamai, and it's essentially irrelevant. Right? They heard a fellow say that somebody's dead, and then they went and they didn't see anybody there. How do you know it wasn't a demon? Well, they saw that there was the form of a person. Inunami, damu. But demons can also look like people. They saw a shadow. Inunami islu babua. But demons can also have shadows. They saw the shadow of a shadow. Maybe demons also have shadows of shadows. Yonis and Shida. Rabbi says that Yonis in the shade said to me, Babua islu, babua de babua leislu. They have shadows, they don't have shadows of shadows. Maybe it was the co-wife, and the co-wife was just trying to make cause trouble. So start the Beis Medrash of Rabbi Shmuel that in the time of a sakona they can write a get and give it even though they don't recognize the fellow. Meaning, and Rashi explains, he's talking about a situation where, for example, you have a fellow who fell into a pit or something, and it's a shver matzav, and he says, look, it's me, so-and-so and so-and-so, I want you to write a divorce document and give it to my wife and divorce her. And because it's like a sakana, it's a perilous situation, we can just take him at his word, and assume that he wants to write a get and give it to his wife and that. So here also, it's like a shasa sakona. If you're not gonna rely upon this hearing that this person's dead, well then his wife is going to be naguna forever. So it's a it's a fraught situation, and therefore we can rely even upon this voice. Says the Mishnah, Amar Bakiva, when I went to Nardoya, La'aber Ashana, to make a leap year, Matzaisi Nechemya Ish Beis Deli, I found a fellow named Nechemya Ish Beis Deli, Omerli, and he said to me, he said to Rabbi Akiva, Shamaiti Shein Masina So Isha Be'etz Yisrael Al Pi Echad, I heard that in Eretz Yisrael they do not allow a woman to get remarried based on the testimony of just one witness. Ela Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava is the only one who allows it. V'numeisi lo Kena Dvarim. Rabbi Akiva says, yeah, I said that's exactly correct. Omarli. So Nechemya Ish Beis Deli said to me, Emor loy mishmi, you could tell them in Eretz Yisrael in my name, Atem yodim shamdina mishubeshes b'geyasos, look, you know that over here in Bavel it's dangerous, so I'm not going to travel myself to Eretz Yisrael, but Kach mikublani Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, I have a tradition from Rabbi Gamliel Azokin, says Nechemya Ish Beis Deli Shemasin es ha'isha al pi eid echad, that we can allow a woman to get married based on the testimony of one witness. And says Rabbi Akiva that when he got back to Eretz Yisrael and he reported this to Rabbi Gamliel, Somach lidvarai, Rabbi Gamliel was very happy and welcomed my words. Ve'omar matzaynu chaver Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, and Rabbi Gamliel said, we have found a friend for Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, that we have another opinion to support, Rabbi Yehuda ben Bava, to support the notion that we can believe one witness to enable a woman to get remarried. And based on this and from this incident, Rabbi Gamliel remembered that there were these people who were killed in Tel Arza, and their wives were agunos. Vehisi, Rabbi Gamliel, and Rabbi Gamliel allowed all of these women to get remarried based on the testimony of a single witness. And from that point, they allowed people in Eretz Yisrael to start getting married, even if it's a witness who heard from a witness, mipi eved, or from a slave, mipi isha, or from a woman, mipi shivcha, from a maidservant. Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yeshua, Omim ein masin es isha pi echad. Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua, however, said that we may not allow a woman to get married based on one witness. Rabbi Akiva, Omer says, Rabbi Akiva, lo pi isha, lo pi eved, lo pi shivcha, lo pi krovim. Rabbi Akiva says that we cannot allow a woman to get married based on the testimony of a woman, or a slave, or a Canaanite maidservant, or relatives. Basically, anybody who's not able to be considered a witness. Says the Gemara, B'Sav Rabbi Akiva al pi isha lo. Is it true that Rabbi Akiva really holds that a woman cannot testify that another woman's husband is gestorben? But we learn in the Brayso, Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Omer says Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar, Mishum Rabbi Akiva, the name of Rabbi Akiva, Isha ne'emenes lo vigita mikav v'chomer. A woman is believed to bring her own divorce document based on a kav v'chomer. It's a very funny case because, the way that divorce documents work, as far as I understand, is that the husband gives it to the wife and now she's divorced. But here, apparently, the husband gave the divorce document to the wife to bring back to some place where she can then give it to a messenger of the husband to give it to her. Okay, I don't know, it's weird. But basically, a woman is able to bring her own divorce document. From a kav v'chomer, right, we on the other day had a Mishnah that listed 5 women who are not trusted to give testimony that another woman's husband is gestorben. So even those women who would be unable to testify that this woman's husband is dead, they would be able to bring a get for her, right? So Zoshin Emenes Lomar Meizbaila, so in Kavachomer, a woman who's believed to say that her own husband is dead, Enodin Shne Emenes Lavi Gita, so then certainly she should be believed to bring her own divorce document, right? If these other women who are not believed to give testimony about the status of her husband are able to bring a divorce document, she who is believed to give testimony about her own husband, certainly she should be able to bring her own divorce document. Implying, right, that Rabbi Akiva is saying in his Kav V'chomer, he's saying there are these 5 women who are not allowed to give testimony about a woman's husband, implying that any other woman would be able to give testimony about a woman's husband. So any other woman would be believed. Lo kasha, it's no question. Kan kodem she'echziku, kan lacher she'echziku. look, when Rabbi Akiva said in our Mishnah that women would not be believed to give testimony that another woman's husband is gestorben, that was when Rabbi Akiva said that was before we had this chazaka that they said that we could believe in aid and in aid mipi aid, etc. But so that was before the chazaka. But once there was the chazaka, then Rabbi Akiva agreed that women are believed to testify that another woman's husband is gestorben, and when Rabbi Akiva made that kavachomer about these 5 women who are not believed, implying that all other women are believed, that was after there was this chazaka that we can believe women to testify about other women that their husbands are gestorben. Says the Mishnah, Amulo Maise bivnei Levi. So they said to Rabbi Akiva, right, in the previous Mishnah, Rabbi Akiva just said that we cannot trust a woman. Now they said to Rabbi Akiva's colleagues, they said to him, Maise bivnei Levi, there's a story with Leviim, Shalchu l'Tzor Yar Tamarim, that they were on their way to Tzor, the city of dates, V'chala echad mem, and one of them got sick, V'viud b'punduk, so they dropped him off at a kretschmer. A kretschmer is like an inn, but kretschmer is Hamish. V'chazarasam amru l'fundakis ay chavrenu. So on their way back, they stopped by the kretschmer on the way back to check in on their friend, and they say, so where's our friend? Nu misloim, and the innkeeper, the kretschmer keeper, said to them, Meis, he's gestorben, ukvartev, I buried him, v'isiu es ishto, and based on her testimony, they allowed his wife to get married. Velotei kohenis kipundokis. Now, if we're gonna trust this kretschmer keeper, this woman kretschmer keeper, so then certainly we should be able to trust a Jewish woman. Omar Lu, Rabbi Akiva says to them, Pundakis ne'emenes. So Rabbi Akiva says, look, if any Jewish woman would be like this kretschmer keeper, so then this Jewish woman would be believed, sure, as well, yeah. This kretschmer keeper brought out his staff and his cloak and his Sefer Torah, meaning she basically made it she was very convincing. She didn't just say that this fellow is gestorben. She brought his things and really made it clear that he really was gestorben. It says the Gemara Magriyus the Pundakis. What's wrong with the kretschmer keeper? It makes it sound like this kretschmer. If we could trust the kretschmer keeper, so then certainly we could trust a Jewish woman. What's wrong with the kretschmer keeper? Well, she was a Gentile, but she was just mesicha lefituma, as we talked about the other day. She wasn't giving testimony per se. She was just giving an honest sort of recollection of what happened. She said, look, this is his staff, this is his cloak, this is the grave that I buried him in. So that she was a Gentile kretschmer keeper, and she was just speaking sort of honestly. This is his staff, this is his cloak, this is the tomb that the burial thing that I thingied him in. So the Gemara says, 1 second. How could she? Oh, is that the horn? That's the Shabbos horn, I think. But I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay on time. But how could it be Mesiach Lefitumo if they said, "Where's our friend?" So they asked her. Came to Chazisinu Bachya. No. So really, what happened was when she saw these people on their way back, she started crying, and that was the Mesiach Lefitumo, that she was emotionally, emotional about it. At which point, Amrullah, only at that point they said to her, where's our chaver, where's our friend? Amrullah Mesuk Fartiv, at which point she said, he's gestorben, and I buried him. Tana Rabbanan, the rabbis taught, there's a maise about a fellow who came to give testimony about a woman's husband that is gestorben. Oh, here's the horn. Now that's a horn. A Shabbos horn. Don't worry, still have a little time. But we got to hustle. So that this fellow came to testify that a woman's husband was dead before Reb Tarfon. Omer lo, and Reb Tarfon says to the fellow, Bini, my son, how do you know that this woman's husband is really gestorben? Omar, he said, look, we were traveling together, and these soldiers were chasing after us, and this fellow chaptarain, a stick from an olive tree, and And he basically was able to use this olive branch to keep away the soldiers. And I said to this fellow, I said, lion, shkoich. He says, how do you know that my name is Aryeh? After all, this is what they call me my name. That's what they call me. They call me Yochanan B'Reb Yehonasan Aryeh Mikfar Shichya. And then the fellow concludes that this Aryeh fellow ultimately died. And Reb Tarfon says, okay, well, he's gestorben, his wife can get remarried. Reb Tarfon Lobaya Drisha V'Chakira. 1 second, doesn't Reb Tarfon require Drisha V'Chakira? Doesn't he have to interrogate the fellow to make sure he's telling the truth? But 1 second, wasn't there a story with a certain fellow who came for Reb Tarfon to give testimony that a woman's husband is gestorben? Amarlo, and Reb Tarfon says to him, Bini, how do you know this testimony? Amarlo, the fellow says, look, I was traveling with this fellow, brother Fachrenu Gaius, and soldiers were chasing after us, and he chaptarain a branch from a fig tree of Shachoy, and he split it or something. And he was able to keep back the soldiers. And I said to the fellow, Shkoyech Aryeh. Wow, you got my name right. That's exactly what they call me in my town, in my city. Yochanan ben Yonasan Aryeh Mikfar Shichya. That they call me Yochanan ben Yonasan Aryeh Mikfar Shichya. The Yom Chalav Ames, and then sure enough, the fellow died. Right? He's giving testimony and says this Aryeh fellow, Taka, died. Amarlo, to which Reb Tarfon is questioning him, and he says, Lo kachomaitali Yochanan ben Yonasan Mikfar Shichya Aryeh. Didn't you tell me that his name wasn't Yochanan ben Yonasan, the lion from Kfar Shichya? Rather, didn't you say that his name was Yochanan ben Yonasan from Shichya Aryeh, a place called Shichya Aryeh, that his name wasn't Shichya, but where that his name isn't Aryeh, but where he's from is Aryeh. Amar lei, to which this testifier said to Reb Tarfon, no, this is what I said to you. Yochanan ben Yonasan Aryeh di Mikfar Shichya. No, his name was Aryeh. V'diktek olav shnayim v'shlosh payim v'chiven estavarv, and Reb Tarfon kept on checking him to make sure that really he was telling the truth and he wasn't going to get confused and caught up in what he was saying, and he stuck true to his story, which is that the guy's name was Aryeh Bisi Reb Tarfon Asishto, and only at that point did Reb Tarfon allow his wife to remarry. So didn't Reb Tarfon require Drisha V'Chakira? How come in the first recollection he seems to not require interrogation? Tanoihi, well, it's machlokas tanoim. The Tanya is we learn in the price ein bodkin eidei noshim v'drisha v'chakira, that when it comes to testimony about a woman's husband who's gestorben, we don't do interrogations. Divrei Rebbe Kiva, that's Rebbe Kiva's opinion. Reb Tarfon Omer, whereas Reb Tarfon says bodkin, we do interrogate, and therefore. So, just like we said, there's machlokas about whether or not you do interrogations for testimony of a woman's husband that he's gestorben. So also there were sort of differing accounts about what exactly Reb Tarfon's position is on the matter. And this machlokas about whether we require interrogation for Eidus Isha is based on this machlokas on the statement of Rabbi Chanina. So Rabbi Chanina says, Rabbi Chanina, we're going to learn this in Masechta Sanhedrin, that really mean the Oraisa, both dini mominus, monetary cases, as well as capital cases, you have to do interrogations of the witnesses. Shnemar, as the pasuk says, that it's one judgment for everybody, whether it's monetary, capital. So now come they say that by monetary matters we do not need to do interrogation, so as not to lock the door in front of lenders, borrowers, right? Meaning if a borrower wants to, right, Reuven wants to borrow money from Shimon. But Shimon's going to say, look, it's going to be a mess. I'm going to have witnesses and they're going to go into Bezdin when I want to collect it, and there's going to be interrogations. It's going to be a whole mess. Shimon says, look, it's too annoying to lend money. I'm not going to lend any money. So therefore, to sort of make it easier, the process of lending money, to say, you know what, we're not going to do Drisha V'Chakira when it comes to monetary matters. So what exactly is machlokas? How does it relate to testifying that a woman's husband is gestorben? Well, since by this testimony there's a ksuba involved, that she's going to be able to collect a ksuba, so it makes it dini mominus, and that's why there's no drisha v'chakira. So Umar Savar came to Kasharina and Eishes Ish La'ama Kedin and Fajr's Dami. The other opinion is, well, since we are going to allow, based on this testimony, a woman to get remarried, which is potentially Eishes Ish, so it's like Din and Fajr's, and that's why we need Yeshiva Chakir. Amr Balazar, Amr B'chanina, Tamdi Chacham, Babim Shalom Ba'olam, Shnema V'chobanayich Kumudei Hashem, V'av Shalom Banayich, Hatika Banayich, Abonayich. Says Rabbi Lazar, the name of Rabbi Chanina, that Talmidei Chachamim, Torah scholars, Ma'abim Shalom Ba'olam, they increase peace in the world. That's cool. Shenemar, as the Pasuk says, V'chobanayich Kumudei Hashem, that all of your sons are those who learn from the Eivishter V'av Shalom Banayich, and there's a lot of peace. Atika Banayich, Abonayich. Don't mean that your sons, rather your builders, that like the Torah scholars are building the world. That's cool. Talmidei Chachamim Ma'abim Shalom Ba'olam. Torah scholars increase peace in the world. Peace out, friends. Anyways, friends, I gotta kind of go because Shabbos is starting, but this Yevamos was insane, right? Dude, we're freaking done, man. We're moving on to Ksubis. Bright and early. Peace out.